Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to answer one of our standard questions they sent in via our God Ordained Marriage website. So let's jump into the question. Hey, Tequila, do prodigal spouses feel the pain of the divine separation as well, or is it just us standards? Even if the prodigal spouse isn't aware that we are their God ordained spouse, would they feel our absence? I'm asking because the pain and weight of this separation can be excruciating at times, and I sometimes wonder whether my prodigal feels anything at all while off in their sin. Thank you for answering. All right, thank you for sending in your question. I want to just start off because you referred to yourself as a standard, and then you went on to refer to yourself as a God ordained spouse. I want everyone to learn the difference. Okay, so a standard is someone who is currently married, right? You are currently married, okay? And you are dealing with a prodigal husband or wife. So if you are not currently married, then you are not a standard. You would be considered a God ordained spouse. Okay. God ordained spouses are those who are single, but God has already revealed to you who your God ordained, future husband or wife is. Okay. So just know the difference. Okay. Because I don't want y'all to get confused with the language. But to answer your question, you said, do prodigal spouses feel the pain of the divine separation, as well as us standards? Yes, but it's different because as I'm a God ordained spouse. So as God ordained spouses, and standard, yes, we go through a broken heart phase. Your heart will feel broken in this process of the divine separation. Your prodigal will feel that as well. Okay, but we feel the yearning, right? We yearn, for that connection. We yearn to be back in their presence, right? For some of us, you might go through depression or the sadness, right? The loneliness, right? But it's nothing compared to what your prodigal is going through because during divine separation, your prodigal is up under God's wrath and judgment, which means they are now being tormented in their mind. See, prodigals are given over to a reprobate mind. Prodigal loses their senses, right? So that's not something we are experiencing. Okay, we in our right mind, right? We are operating in our senses. Okay, but prodigal, while they are doing this divine separation, they are being hit with the spirit of anger. They are unhappy with themselves and within in those counterfeit relationships. Okay, I don't care how good they try to make it look on the outside. They are unhappy. They are miserable. They know they chose wrong, and they're trying to find themselves out of. They're trying to find their way out of that counterfeit relationship. Your prodigal is also being betrayed by the one they call family and friends. They go through sadness. Like I said, they are being tormented in the mind. For some of these prodigals, they can't sleep. They stand up all night. They are stressed out. In this process, God will move. He will come in and correct thinking in your spouse. And then that will lead them to now feeling remorseful, now feeling shame, guilt, and embarrassment, right? So, you know, we can't really compare the two. Like I haven't felt any of these things. I should say any. I have felt the anger, like with me doing divine separation and the broken heart, you know. But I'm sleeping good at night, But what I'm getting at here is prodigals, they feeling things too, okay? Even though they are out there in their sin, it can look like they having fun. It can look like they living it up, having the best time of their life. And while we over here, on punishment, because that's how it can look, right? But no, on the inside, we don't see how they are being tormented on the inside. We don't see how, God is encountering them and speaking to them. We don't see the times when they are suffering in silence. We don't see when they're going through depression. We don't see, when they probably regretting leaving, we're not there for all of that. We don't know, how they regret, just certain things in the situation. So um, I know this process can, it can feel like a long drawn out process, but understand, it's all for your good. God, you got to understand this. We can't get to the promise. We can't go into the promise the same way, right? Who you are today can't go into the promise. Okay, you have to change and become a whole totally different person. And this is why this process, this God ordained stand, this is why it can seem so long, so drawn out. For some of us, we ask the question, why do I got to go through this? You have to go through this because the promise requires a certain standard. The promise requires growth and maturity. The promise requires, for the person to have character, and integrity. The promise required, for you to be healed. This is why we got to go through these things, because as we are going through these things, you know, we are healing, we are growing, we are developing, we are improving, we are becoming our best selves, right? And once God, gets you to that promise, you're going to thank Him for this process. You're going to thank God, for this process. You're going to thank God for the divine separation. Thank you, God, for the divine separation. Thank you, because it's the divine separation is not just only for the prodigal, but it's for us as well, the believing spouse, right? It's all for our good. Okay. It's all to get us, in alignment with the will of the Lord and into the promised land. Okay. So that is my advice. I am Tequila Coleman. I'll talk to you all real soon. Take care.